What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode, and in today's video we're taking a look at Travis Scott's Utopia album, talking about how it's aged over the last year, including the good, the bad, the ugly, and the controversy surrounding the merch. Now before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to the homie Strain Beats, who's been cooking up the beats for these videos, so make sure you guys check him out. And while you're here, you might as well drop a like and subscribe and join our free Discord to stay up to date with the latest and the greatest. Shout out to all of my chefs in there. Now to start off today's video, we have LaFlame himself acknowledging the special 1-year anniversary since the release of the Utopia album on his Instagram story, and it was while I was listening to the album a little bit earlier this morning that I started thinking about just how far he's evolved since the Astroworld era, along with all of the tragedies that came with it. Because when looking back at the origins of Utopia and seeing just how far it's come from the early days of the rollout, which featured Travis's bodyguards being featured carrying the following Utopia briefcases, I think it's safe to say that the man definitely cares about his craft. So with that said, you can imagine how hype all fans were when he started dropping merch and it was advertised as shipping within 1 week of release. I mean, listen to my reaction when it first dropped here. Now, a lot of times with Travis Scott merch, the biggest headache when it comes to his merch is that it takes on average 4 to 8 weeks, sometimes even more, for the pieces to actually release, which is definitely a bummer given that you're paying sometimes $125 for, say, a sweatshirt, and then you're not getting it for 3 to 4 months later. So you'll find out, which is a pleasant surprise relative to this drop right here, and we're going to take a look in just a second here, that a lot of his merch, if not all of them, for this Utopia drop is actually releasing 1 week after the release of the album. Yes, you heard that correctly. You're actually going to get your Travis Scott Utopia merch on time, and it shouldn't be taking 4 months and sometimes even longer just to get them.
A few moments later.
So here I found myself about 6 weeks later without a single piece of merch shipped and over 300 comments from angry ragers and fans sharing similar frustrations as not a single soul had a single piece of merch. And while on one hand it was hard not to feel like we all got played and finessed by the shipping times, on the other it allowed me to grow the community that I have now, as I saw that there were thousands of us that essentially felt like we were in the same boat. So I guess I really should just thank LaFlame, and the moral of the story is when it comes to his merch, it'll arrive when it arrives. Now, as far as the merch from the Utopia collection itself, we would see Trav hit the stage rocking various pieces throughout the tour, such as this C1 bundle pack that happens to be one of my favorites. And as I mention in every merch video, I always think it's super important and impactful for the artists themselves to be spotted wearing their own merch and pieces, as it helps create that connection with the fans, and honestly, if they're not hype about it, why should we be? And speaking of hype Utopia merch, we'd also see several collaborations with brands such as St. Michael as well as Cause, who Travis collaborated with several years ago. Now additionally, Travis would go on to add an entire leg of new shows, and with that would also come some new merch, as you guys can see here, and fans would have the opportunity to of course pick up some city exclusive pieces that would revolve around with each city. And speaking of the tour itself, it would go on to become historic, as Travis Scott would become the first rapper to headline and sell out over 70,000 fans at the SoFi Stadium, as well as bringing out none other than Kanye West aka Ye to close out the Orlando show that I of course attended. Now as for all of my fellow sneakerheads, we would also be in for a treat on this Utopia tour, as Travis would preview his then unreleased Jumpman Jacks or T-Rexes, which as we know have already dropped 2 colorways in the meantime. And if you've been able to get your hands on either of them, let us know in the comments, and good luck to you this upcoming year and next year if you're going for any of those pairs. Because as we've seen with all of his past releases, it's never about getting the shoes to the hands of fans, and rather it's a battle of life versus death against those damn sneaker bots. And who could of course forget the controversy surrounding LaFlame's Utopia branded Nike Air Force Ones, which retailed for around $150 and came out to maybe $170 to $190 with shipping and tax. and had many people talking as they were not happy that there was essentially nothing special about the collaboration, and it felt extremely low effort, especially given how long of a wait they had. Now, when it comes to my least favorite part of the Utopia rollout, it's definitely gotta be the fact that Travis was yet again skipped over and snubbed for the Grammy nomination for Album of the Year, because I don't know about you guys, but personally, Utopia was my album of the year for 2023, and so far it's proven to be my favorite album of 2024 as well, as it literally hasn't left my rotation. So I'd love to know in the comments how all of my chefs rate Utopia amongst Travis's albums, and if you guys still listen to it as much as I do, because I can't tell if I'm just a big fan or if new music has been really bad. Now, speaking of the first week sales, which a lot of artists struggle with today, Utopia ended up touching around 500,000 units for the first week, which is honestly unheard of, apart from a couple of major artists, so shout out to The Flame one time. Now, I also wanted to remind my chefs that this Utopia rollout was special, as Travis was able to achieve a lifelong dream of collaborating with Audemars Piguet in designing his own chocolate-colored AP, which would retail for around 200,000. And speaking of upcoming collaborations, if the rumor is true, Travis is currently cooking up something with Italian supercar giant Lamborghini, so we have something to look forward to in the future. Now, I don't know about you chefs, but after seeing the most recent footage of Travis's European concerts and after cooking up a video reviewing the most recent EU exclusive merch, I think it's safe to say that the European leg of this tour definitely clears what we got here in the US, so if you're on the fence about going to any of these upcoming EU shows, definitely buy a ticket and go. Now, with all that being said, and as someone that's been a rager and fan of Travis Scott for over 9 years now, I can say with confidence that this Utopia era might be one of my favorites for more than one reason. And although we never got the iconic Egyptian album release party that was supposed to take place at the Great Pyramids at the beginning of the rollout, I think it's safe to say that Travis went above and beyond during this tour to make sure that it was memorable for all of his fans and ragers, whether you were attending for the first time or attending for like the 4th or 5th like myself. So like I said earlier in the video, I really owe the beginning of my community to this Utopia era, and I always want to give thanks to my chefs, so I wanted to shout out Keaton and Awesome Crush for the recent server boosts and helping me hold it down along with all my other chefs. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and again, as someone who first saw Travis 9 years ago, if you have the opportunity to attend this upcoming tour, please do yourself the favor because you won't regret it. And if you're interested in learning more about Travis's Astroworld era that took place before Utopia, I'll go ahead and link that video at the end. Now, as always guys, thank you so much for cooking with the kitchen, and let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comments. Because despite all of us having to wait a million years for the merch to actually arrive, I don't think that undermines just how special and unique this Utopia album and era are. So I really hope that if you're on the fence, this video helps you, and again, let me know in the comments how you guys think this album aged and what you guys think of it. Now, as always, thank you guys so much for watching and cooking with the kitchen. Remember to stay safe out there, and as always, remember, it's lit, straight up, and peace.